Hajime. Welcome back to my space. Sorry I've been away for a bit. I have really been trying to work through a couple of things. We know Sinead O'Conner is an Irish, or was an Irish singer who made fame during the 70s and 80s. Very, very famous. She became this role in women's rights activism, humanitarianism, and recently, I think a few days ago, had passed away from she had a mental breakdown is what happened, and due to her anxiety and the things that had happened in her life, it caused her to probably not work as well physically, emotionally. She was unstable. And I've been there before. I know how it feels. I've been in positions where things around you have happened in your life and you struggle to express to people how certain things are, and your feelings and emotional control is out of control, and then you're put on medication and you name it, the whole caboodles. I've been there. I know how it feels. So I'm an advocate myself on mental stability and staying calm and being true to yourself. And as an artist myself, I do find that you need to have that break. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're working so hard and people don't recognize you for who you are, but more of what you do. And I think it's important to identify those artists in the past who have gone through the same things that normal people go through. We're all human. And yeah, she was just like this iconic figure, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. She's just stunning. She would always shave her hair in music videos. Her most recognized song was Nothing Compares to You, but the original piece was composed by Prince, but he didn't make it famous. I think Sinead O'Conner made her claim to fame was that song. So it made her like this, like, she just became huge. I mean, she just went just amazing. And she spoke up for people of situations. I mean, there was a whole episode on the Pope. We're not going to get into that, but you can always look it up on YouTube or wherever if you want to look up more information on her. There's lots and lots of resources about what she's done. Her music videos on YouTube. I can't play any of her pieces because I don't want to get copywritten infringement claims from YouTube, so I'm not going to go there. But you guys are more than welcome if you are younger and you don't know Sinead O'Conner. She was born in December 7th, 1966, and she passed away this month, July 2000, I think a day or so after Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett had actually gone through some emotional breakdowns too in his life. So us artists are very sensitive towards breakdowns. We have we're very emotional people, and I think the reason why I also do more than one thing is because you need to give that space as an artist to be creative in different platforms. You can't just focus. In my theory, if you're going to be a successful musician, you actually do need to have more than one skill. My sister is discovering it right now. She's now doing acting and performing and all this stuff, but she's behind the scenes doing things for directors, and she realizes the skills that she wasn't using, she's now implementing in films and background stuff that she's doing besides music. So there's an understanding around the industry that musicians or artists, fine artists or designers, we all have our own skills beyond just one format. So I think this is something to consider. I just wanted to talk about Sinead O'Conner. She stood for just women rights, and I'm a woman and I'm a female, and I feel that I've also personally been through emotional times that I've had to kind of take a step back from reality and realize that I am not perfect, and that I need help when I need help, Don't ever not reach out for help. When you need help, go out and ask for help. This is like the biggest thing, is people are too scared to ask for help. And sometimes, even if they do ask for help, sometimes people don't understand. So be that person. If there's somebody in your life that has a breakdown, ask them questions, talk to them, make sure that you're actively reaching out and getting them involved in things that they probably would not necessarily. Maybe they're stuck in a room and they don't want to move from their room, and they just can't survive outside of their spaces. Reach out to them, call them, give them a call. They would probably love to hear from you. And these are all the things that you need to really consider when a mental breakdown is not a mental. It's a mental breakdown. Your body is just breaking down because it doesn't know where to run. So, find something. Keep yourself busy. I mean, I know I was in hospital, and I'm going to be honest, I was not okay for a long time. And the knitting that I do actually saved my life. Believe it or not, that very knitting happened to go into an exhibition which landed at the Smithsonian Library in the education department. Not because it was anything to do with mental problems, but it had everything to do with survival. Like, what would you do in a survival mechanism? How can you sustain yourself? How can you keep yourself from losing your mind space? You need to keep yourself busy. That's what I've noticed. That's why I do my art. This is also another one of my paintings. Let me show this over to you. I have two of these. That was actually my master's thesis. I truly believe becoming a functioning character in society has everything to do with your mental health. Are you okay? Are the people around you supporting you? Are you getting advice when you need the advice? Are you reaching out to somebody that perhaps is not doing okay? Like, make sure you're there for the people, or make sure people are there for you. It's like an awareness for people around the world to identify, if the individual is not okay, the person may be having difficulties. The person may be having difficulties in their lives, and maybe it's time for them to reach out and talk to somebody. So, as an artist who's gone through similar situations and had to acknowledge the fact during that time that I needed the help. When I needed the help, it matters. People matter. People, you can't just brush them off and say that you'll be fine. They're probably acting or behaving differently than they usually would because there's something wrong. So just bear in mind that, that is a thing. This was the jackets that I had for the show that this is a knitted paint piece. It's all knitted, all hand knitted, and this kept me from losing my marbles. By knitting and showing people I'm going to be okay, showed people I was going to be okay. By keeping yourself active and productive, whether you have electronics or not, whether you have another skill, use that skill to keep yourself from losing reality, because that will eventually help you through the next level of your life. It doesn't have to be music, but all I'm saying is reach out to either yourself. If you're needing help, ask somebody for help. And art therapy is real. It's real. I paint as well, but paper mache, it's easy supplies to get. I feel as if this was an important time to kind of re-evaluate your mental health. People's mental health matters, because in the end you don't want to leave this planet young. You want to have a fulfilling life, but you also need to understand that things can happen in your life that can cause these things to occur. Don't let it take over you, because like I said, I've been there before. It did take over me for a long time, and I had to get myself out of that cycle. And the cycle meant, for me, in my case, I moved countries. I had to move countries, or else I was never going to get out of that circle. So, being back in the United States, made me realize I was going to be okay. Versus living in South Africa, I was not surviving there. I was not functioning well, and I was not surrounded by people who cared enough. Sure, my parents were there, but I think friends, you know, your friends, you find your real friends as you get older. Like I said, I'm 43. I'm not even like a spring chicken anymore. But you learn your skills. You know, music is great. You know. So in South Africa, more men are in control. So it's a male-dominated country. And for me, as a feminist, I am a feminist. I believe women have rights. And in South Africa, women didn't have as many rights. So being back in the States for me allowed me to express myself, being a woman without being persecuted, because you will be persecuted in certain countries if you stand up and speak for women's rights. It's just how it is. Not every country is like the United States. So I felt positive that being back in the States would be the right move for me, and it was. And so I'm here, and I'm sure if I was in South Africa, I wouldn't even be able to do a YouTube channel. So I'm grateful for my husband to be with me and allow me to do what I want to do. He's extremely supportive. So you need to have people who are supportive in your life. You must. So let me just, my plan is to eventually get this on Spotify. I'm still working at it. I need to separate the sections. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do. So I know what I'm going to do in this situation. It sounds awfully messy because I'm going to have to split up the sections. I like the sounds of each part. Now what I'm going to do is separate the sections for individual parts to bring out and kind of like push out and push in depending on sections and where they should be sounding. I am doing the Facebook performance bonus, so I am focusing on doing those reels because I'm making money, I'm earning money there, right? So I need to also spend responsible time on what Facebook also requires me to do. And I have far more followers there than I have here on YouTube, which will eventually happen. I hope the followers from Facebook eventually switch over to the YouTube and kind of see what I'm doing and diversify. We'll see what happens. I have 3 or 4 Facebook pages, so I need to kind of work through that. So I thought maybe it was important to talk about reflecting on yourself. Sinead O'Conner, who is just, she was amazing. I remember those music videos, and they really stood out to me because they were so different and so artistic and so expressive. When I was growing up, I'm of her generation, so I'm 43. She was like 56 or something when she, you know, she's just passed away. So she's not much older than me, mind you. So she was very young to have gone through what she had gone through at the final stages of her life. So yeah, I thought maybe it's important to speak about that because I want people, if there are people out there who are struggling with this, like I was, and like Sinead O'Conner was, don't ever think that you have no power to do it for yourself. You can speak up, you can talk about it. Hopefully the countries that you're in don't hold you back from speaking out your truth. And if they do, then maybe it's time to consider moving to a different country like I did. I moved because I wasn't prepared to wait and have people tell me how I should be versus what I know I'm capable of. So once again, like and subscribe. I'm going to put the videos up of sounds and different places and locations of the videos I've constructed just to get out of the space to reflect on things you can do outside. It's a beautiful summer in the United States right now. So we should be spending more time outside, which a lot of people I know are doing. If you're in a different country and it's cold and it's winter, focus on reflecting on things that would give you pleasure. If knitting is something you do, go ahead and knit. If painting is something you like to do, go ahead and paint. If sketching is something that you use to create clothing, go ahead and sketch the ideas and make the art and clothing. And like I said, never not speak up. Always speak up if you have a question. I'm also here, so if you have any questions and you want to talk to somebody, feel free to join me on my Facebook. I'm also there, and I will definitely reach out and talk to you on another perspective, because I've been there. I understand what it feels to suffer internally without speaking about it. You need to talk about these things. It's just important for your well-being. It keeps you, as long as you know there are people out there that understand the situation, I'm sure it's easier to talk to strangers than it is to people that you might know as well, depending on the situation. Anyway, arigatou gozaimashita, and mata shita sayonara, and jene bye bye, and we'll talk in the next one.